Hey everybody, Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio in the Town Hall Academy, week 335. Good to have you here. You know, we're on YouTube, everyone. I was talking to Tracy. She said, Dad, 100% of everything we do on Remarkable Results Radio is on YouTube. If you'd like to see not only here on the podcast, but see what we're doing and who the peoples are, and sometimes our crazy expressions, please watch our YouTube channel and go to podchaser.com. Leave us a review. So we're going to talk about ChatGPT with us. It seems to be the rage. Everyone is talking about it. And if you haven't played with ChatGPT or any other AI, including the incredible AI that the Google is forcing in front of us, I don't know if you guys bring my panel up. I have a quick question. Have you seen the AI that's going on in Google?
Yes.
Bard, I think they call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do a request, I get an AI dump first, and I find it, oh God, I was thinking of that. Anyway, I'll introduce my panel. Here is Tara Topel from Topel Service Center, Lake Mills, Wisconsin. Hey, Tara.
Hi, Carm.
Tara was with me. Great episode. It was last October, Aftermarket Weekly 127, and we saw a great tour of her brand new, gorgeous Taj Mahal building. Is it done? I mean, because it wasn't 100% done back then. Is it?
It's getting there. I don't know if it'll ever be done, but we'll see.
I know. You said that every single time I've talked to you. Well, we're still working on it, Carl. We're still working on it. Andy Bizub is here. Midwest Performance Cars, Chicago, 3 locations. Hey, Andy.
Hey, how are you?
So good to have you here. Is the third one real?
No, it's opening in mid-July.
All right. So I'm sorry I was a little premature there, but you're okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
And my friend Greg Buckley, you're all my friends, but I've known Greg ever since I started back in 2015, Buckley's Auto Care, Wilmington and Millsboro, Delaware. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Carm. How's everybody doing?
We are great. Hey, I want to stop and give a high five to our great sponsors. You know, priorities change in a heartbeat. So shouldn't your shop management system reflect that? Well, if you use Shopware, it does. The built-in expediter lets you shuffle jobs around based on real time. For maximum efficiency, do yourself a favor, get shopware.com. And are you up to date on your training? Delphi Technologies is proud to offer over 30 courses run by ASE certified technicians for you, the professional. Turn to the OE aftermarket supplier with over 100 years of experience. Wow, the parts your cars are born with. Love that. Inquire today at DelphiAftermarket.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. I honestly have to tell you, I don't know where this episode is going to go because I have more questions than I think we have answers, and you've all submitted some great talking points to me. And what's interesting is you've all covered, I think, everyone's thoughts from A to Z. So here's the thought, guys. Content creation, blogs, drafting articles, newsletters, brainstorming ideas, market research. Let me see. How many adults that earn this kind of money that live in a single-family household within 10 miles of my house? I'll bet you AI gives it to you in seconds. And if you were going to do some Facebook ads and you were really going to target, wouldn't that help you maybe narrow? It's just a crazy thought. Appointment scheduling, possibly, if it's in your SMS, which is kind of an AI. It's not about ChatGPT, but it is an AI feature today. And I know you're doing some very interesting things, Tara, with AI. You said to me that you're currently using AI to update your Team Member Handbook. I'm fascinated.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where you just, have to put yourself in a certain mindset to really focus on those in and amongst the day-to-day business. And it's something I find myself putting off or referring to the fact that we're updating it. But I've been doing that way too long now. So just being able to put in my thoughts and exactly what I'm looking for and have that within seconds versus something that would normally take me probably hours has been a really big efficiency builder for running the business.
Give me an example.
So So our old handbook that was written in 2011 had like health and safety at the end of our handbook. And I've realized that that's something that actually needs to be first, health, safety, and wellness. So that was my focus, was to ask about, introduction for health, safety, and wellness. And then, and I got a really nice introductory paragraph. And then I just kind of kept dialing in for specifics of what I was looking for. And it just gave it to me. So.
All right, my question to everyone on this panel, and listen, I've played with it, no doubt, right? I don't think you could use it verbatim. And have you ever taken some stuff and said, I'm going to paste it just like it is, or are you going to put the Greg, the Andy, the Tara thing in it? And I think, isn't that a warning we need to give to our industry?
Without a doubt, you can use chat or Bard or AI, for many things, and we're all experimenting with it. But we can't take our own individual intelligence out of anything that's written. We always have to, double check, cross check. We have to add our own, I would say, influence into the content that's being presented to us. And that's one of the scary things that I see with AI completely. I'm not an opponent to it. I kind of lean towards me being a proponent because of simply what Tara has just started to use it for. It supplements some of the things that we may not think about, and it's like a jump off point. However, if we start to lean on it too much, there are really mental situations, and I mean it's like physically, we start to subjugate our own intelligence into a chat or an AI situation, and we stop thinking in real terms, real world. But getting back to the point of how we use chat and what we use it for, I think that there are benefits to it. We just can't really lean into it as much as what we are being presented with. And I look at this now as, once the media got a hold of it, it blew it, everything is AI. I mean, stuff that's been with us, when you come up with a calculation using a calculator, is that AI? I mean, it's an automated answer, 2 + 2 = 4, or 2 × 2 = 4, whatever. All that's been there. And so the media is now coming up with big hype. This is automated. This is artificial intelligence. And clearly it's really not. But anyway, I think that there's purpose for it. We just have to be able, us, have to be intelligent enough how to use the tool.
Andy, I'm sure you agree. After Greg just had this wonderful soliloquy, I'm thinking of a diet. I've got this here. You can do this. You have this tolerance to that. And he says, "Oh, what do I pick?" Right? It's like, what do I pick?
Carm, you're reading my mind. I'm just going to set this up as an analogy to cooking, right? AI is really good at cutting, slicing, dicing, chopping, doing all your ingredient prep. But when it comes to actually putting the dish together and the cooking technique, that comes down to having some skill as a chef, right? So AI can do a lot of grunt work, right? An employee handbook, man, sit down and go type out an employee handbook. That is mind-numbing stuff. But have AI just churn out paragraphs and pages of content, and then you go over and just proof it and make the corrections. I wouldn't let anything that AI wrote out into the wild on a bet, because it will have like glaring mistakes or outright falsehoods in it, which you can go and correct. And I like it. The reason why I started playing around with it and found the value in it, because I have a writing background. AI will produce completely mediocre writing product with no style at all. It's pap, right? It's pulp. But you go over, you proof it, and you add your own style into that article. You can come up with a really great piece.
Well, as I was listening to Tara talk about the manual and some of the paragraphs, and you, Andy, and you, Greg, I wrote down the word personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down the words culture personality, meaning if you get this raw stuff, here's the carrot, it's raw, what do I do with it? Oh, a million things, right? You can bake it, you can cook it, you can whatever. And I think when someone wants to read something that Greg, Tara, or Andy is going to pen, and or any policy from a company, if it doesn't feel like it's from you, if it doesn't feel like it's part of what we're here and what we're about, it's phony.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, going back to what we were all saying about chat and AI. One of the things that was very interesting as soon as it came out, I jumped in and I'm a subscriber, so I paid it $20 and get down deep into it. But one of the first things that I did was I asked it to describe a procedure on replacing a steering bushing for a Hyundai Sonata that we were actually doing. And I said, well, let me describe this. I created a video on it and put it on the YouTube and did the procedure, what it took. Well, I got to tell you, it was pretty damn good. It was really exact. And I said, wow, okay. So I trimmed it up a little bit, detailed it out. And then I really used it as the content base for the YouTube video. And no penalties, no Google, no nothing like that. But it really described it very well. And I gave that an A to use. And then other things that I would use it for, and I'm constantly using it now, is describing the procedures that we do. And again, I'm letting it roll, and then I'm going back in and filtering it, changing it where needed. And I'm using it in my repair orders as procedures, like let's see, changing power steering hose. Well, purpose of hose, and then line by line, what do we do? How do we do it? So the client will see a list of procedures that
Sure.
we do to complete the job.
Yeah,
And
but you know what they are, Greg, but you just use
yeah,
ChatGPT to help you write some of the ands, us, thus, buts, all the words.
I suppose I look at it like give me the at a glance version of it. It's not
All
like I
right.
don't know, but it's the at a glance version, and it's
Okay.
just that like little refresher. Like okay, and I'm just copying. I'm copying it. I can't copy and paste. I'm going line item to line item,
Yeah.
and it allows the consumer. If there's 10 steps in the procedure, the consumer and client is going to see all 10 steps, and then at the end of that becomes the R&R and the cost of that
Right.
repair.
Does the
The
consumer need
story.
to see all those? But does the consumer need to see all of that
I
in your
believe
world?
my belief is now some guys are saying, hey, well, it's way too much info. For me, what I'm doing is I'm using it to build value and understanding all at the same time within that repair procedure. So if they see 10
Mhm.
steps, it's not like, okay, let me I'm in for a diagnostic repair. Diagnostic charge, $200. Well, for me, it's here are the steps. Here's why we do it,
Yeah.
Mr. Consumer. There's a paragraph. Things are complicated. Cars are new. Technology is big. This is what we got to do. I'm paraphrasing here. Now, next in line would be step one. Review proper procedures and technology, and then we go to step two, step three, step four, all the way down to step
Right.
five. Then it becomes the price. The price is always at the bottom so that the client reviews
Yeah.
everything we're doing and then goes, oh, now I see why these fees are what they are.
Okay.
So
You got two peer shop owners on the call or on our show here. Andy, Tara, are you guys doing that to that level?
I no, but I enjoy that aspect of it. I'm actually on the other side where I will go in and say, like, what happens if I don't flush my brake fluid? Just very, layman's terms. And then I get somewhat layman's terms answers, but we can actually put that in with our recommendations. So we can say, we suggest you flush your brake fluid, and here's why. So we do it a little bit more on the front side, typically. And we also have a new service advisor who's trying to learn quickly and efficiently. And for her to train in and understand, it's way increasing the amount because she'd have to go to maybe like 4 or 5 other sites to try to be able to really learn about it, figure it out. She just has it right away and is
So
learning
you
at the same time that we're filling it in.
you wouldn't encourage the service advisor to go to ChatGPT or any other AI and type that in. You would probably take what you liked about changing brake fluid, pull it, write it your way, and put it into a database so that you can cut, copy, and paste.
Right,
Because
right. And we even
because if it was left up to whatever shows up in the individual cut, copy, and paste, you may not be satisfied with it. It would look like an AI response.
right, right.
Okay.
Allow me just to jump in on here. And Tara, you bring a great point. And the reason why I did what I do or do what I do is because I'm actually educating the service advisor at the same time. When they see those 10 steps, 5 steps, whatever it is, with explanations and reasons, they can pull up that canned RO, that canned job. And, let's put it this way, they're 75% knowledgeable. Maybe not 100%, but at least I can take somebody green and say, okay, here we go. This is what this is all about. Now, this is the truth. And then I'm just going through my first year numbers at Millsboro, my second location. And I have 2 young men, one young man as the service advisor, never, ever was part of the automotive industry. All right. This young man has written over $1 million worth of service in his first year because we are building tools that allow him to be educated and grow with everything that's presented to him. Now, it's simply not all about, work orders but structuring your content within the confines of your daily operations allows your teams to grow, not intellectually, but help you grow financially without the questions coming back. Well, why do I need this? Why do I need to do that? So using this structure, we are giving our underlings here and our newbies the ability to be more confident within the selling process or the recommendation process. So it's been a great experiment that I think has provided just an amazing amount of value back to the company and helping the individuals as well.
Yeah, we're doing something similar. We're not doing anything in terms of the ROs or the communication with the customer, but we are using that. We've hired 5 people in the last 6 weeks to staff up for our new location. 2 of those people that we hired, one of them actually a little bit earlier than 6 weeks, but we have 1 male, 1 female, both young, never been in the auto industry. They're constantly going out between when they have downtime, going out and reading up to bone up on their experience in the auto industry. So they're using it for that. We have over 1,700 canned jobs right now, and I have the luxury of I have 2 guys who have put those all together. These guys both type over 100 words a minute. So it would vastly increase the amount of time if they were using AI to go and create these canned jobs. They just do it on their own, and they're really quick. But as far as creating blog posts, articles to post on, in this various channels, advertisements, I had an AI create an ad for my new shop. I said, give me a 3-paragraph ad about opening a new European auto repair shop in a suburban Chicago location. It came up with a great basis for me to go through and edit and fine tune it, and then turn it over to our ad copy graphic artist, who then put it together for a print ad. So that kind of stuff is really good. I would seriously think about before using any kind of AI chatbot or anything that's going to be client facing, because we're seeing a ton of AI products now being pitched out at the automotive industry. And I have to say, one of the really cool things, think about, 8-9 years ago, the uptake in new technology from our peers in the auto industry and what it is like now. AI has come on in the last few months, and people are just, chomping at the bit to get it into their business and start utilizing it. 8-9 years ago, new technologies would come out and people would be like, no, I'm not going there yet. How long did it take us to get to DVIs being used throughout the industry? So that's a really good sign that our industry is finally finally embracing new technologies. But I would really, really caution everybody about, don't swallow that fish whole. I mean, just start working on it and seeing these things that it puts out, because there's a lot of issues with it, and one of them will come up later on as we move on the topic. But there's a real big one coming out, and there's, like I said, in the last 2 weeks, there are two major things that just came out. One of them, which I just read about 2 days ago. So,
what is it?
I'm sorry.
What is it, Andy?
Well, one of the things is there's been a lot of talk going around just recently about AI, about the evolution of AI and how it's going to improve, or maybe not, maybe actually degrade as it ages. Now, this is my understanding, because I've done a bit of reading, and I've talked to a few people who are more knowledgeable than me, but my understanding of the way AI works, it's out there. It's like a web crawler. It's going and looking at the entire global world of articles that are relevant to what you just asked it. And it's very, through high power computing, it is very language oriented. And so you can ask it a question in normal language. You don't need to know how to code, and it can come up with a pretty good answer. The problem is it refers to all published content out on the internet to gather its information, then to produce an article. Well, as more and more published content is actually being written by AI, and there are mistakes in it because it's a newer technology, it's going to be out there referencing more and more mistake-riddled pieces. Now, is that going to lead to a point starting to get more and more duplicative mistakes, and the mistakes build on each other? Or is it going to actually refine and get better? A lot of that we have to wait and see. We also have to wait and see how the coders and the people who have created this, how they fine tune it. But it's something to really be on the lookout for. Don't automatically assume that it's going to be getting better and better and better.
Well, with that premise, would you think that if a company was able to get granular with that type of content gathering, and were to make it individually available for each of our shops to take our own flavors, our own cultures, and our own answers back to the client, make it client facing, is that a benefit? Is that something that can be done with chatbots that are on websites and stuff like that? That's where I look at it as being a benefit to our consumer facing side. Getting the real, Midwest, getting your shop out, getting my shop out, getting Tara and your shop, and develop. These are our answers. These are our experiences. This is what happened when this 20-year-old Porsche came in, or when this 10-year-old Chevy came in, things like that. I look forward to that, because I have been fooling with chats and chatbots through various companies that have introduced them, and I found them interesting. I found them valuable, but they could not get to the drop off would always be a particular question, a question that a client would ask, and there was no answer, or the answer would be, well, let me send you to the phone call, to a live operator. I think now what we can do is, hey, you know what? Maybe I can answer that and get you really close, like 99%. And would you like, and then drop you into the funnel? Like, okay, we've got that solved. Here, if you want to make the appointment, here it is now. I mean, this is what I look at. So
That, though, kind of goes back to what we had learned at the Auto Care Association. One of our keynote speakers talked about like one of the main rules about AI is it's okay to take from AI, but don't give to AI. So he was, suggesting that we not put out our own content, that we not give them too much to go off of. And I don't know that I know the answer to that, but it was really kind of a profound thought in my mind of, so what exactly does that mean? Like, don't we give to that by putting out content on our website? Like,
You would think.
We're always, anything we put out there gives to it. But maybe that's what you're talking about, Greg, is us actually being able to drive those answers. Like, we all get to contribute to that.
Right. And I've always stated that, working like with Google, all right, Google's a partnership. The more you give it, the more it gets, and the more it gets, the more it gives back to you in terms of search. Like, the more content you put out there, the better off you're going to be. Are you going to protect that content, or are you trying to drive business to your shop? You're trying to drive business to your shop. So you could pay to just take from Google, but the same thing will happen with chat. I think that, putting up a walled garden, as they say, probably won't work for in the long term. I think that if we are to participate in it, we look at it, where can we get the benefits from? What are we giving away? Are we correcting the wrong answers that people are getting? Are we helping? And then again, the benefits back to the shop. It is a big question, but I think that the evolution will have them follow the same pattern as what Google or all the other search engines are. If they're giving you the opportunity to participate and partner with them, it's something to actually kind of consider.
I got to throw in a whole concept at you. So here comes AI. You're looking at it, and there's like a Yelp rating at the bottom as to how accurate was this information or worthy enough to you. So they could go back and say, we know where our hierarchy of search is, and this individual who asked for it wasn't happy with our answer. And can we go back and continue to learn in the algorithm from the kind of content that we're delivering on? Just wow.
Well, I think it's
what is truth.
In line with what Greg was saying about Google, Google is a content junkie, right? But it's for it's for original content. If you cut and paste articles, Google will penalize you. So I'm wondering how Google is going to rate AI-generated content, because AI-generated content is going to, you would think, it's going to start looking somewhat the same if we're not going in and really adding our own touches and our own style to it. And and how much do you have to add to really make it original and break it away from that AI content, right?
What a great point, Greg. Hold that thought a minute. The percentage of your own. I mean, it's a point. If you're going to get this, and we're going to say, I got to make it mine, my personality, my culture, and then it ultimately say it's a blog and you publish it, and it goes back and it reads this and says, "Yeah, I just gave this to him 10 minutes ago, and it's coming right back out at me."
Right.
But and if you're right about that, don't copy, cut, and paste, because you're not going to have relevancy. Because if you're looking for some SEO stuff to come back to you, you may really, as I think all of you said, you got to put some effort into it.
Well, there's a way that you create your content. There are rules you need to follow in order to make it beneficiary to you and your shop. One, you got to, you could take it from one. Let's say that you have an office, like I'm in here. This is my computer. This is where I create my content. It is my IP address. It knows I'm in the Newport area. Anything I create is going to come from this. So if I have a photograph from the shop, I'm going to tag it. I'm going to put it in there, make it part of the article. If I have a video, it's going to come from a certain destination, certain area. You have to put work into how you create the content in order to make it, valuable to your specific location. So if I want to attract somebody within my marketing zone of 3 to 5 miles, great, fine. I need to put those little things in there. I need to put the town of Newport. I need to reference something that the bots will pick up and say, well, this is what happens in Newport, Delaware, or Wilmington, Delaware, or the state of Delaware. It's little things like that. So content creation is where we really got to understand how to maneuver with these new forms of communication. Okay.
I like that word, maneuver with. I mean, that's really, I think that could be a key word for all of us to keep in the back of our minds.
I thought soliloquy was the best one that you said today.
Well, look at every once in a while, I drop those $10 words into the shows.
10.
That's inflation. It used to be 25 cents.
Exactly.
Now they're 10 bucks.
Who's
Wow.
listening? Oh, there's Carbs dropping the word soliloquy again. Hey, I love where we're going. Let's talk about jobs. Any kind of jobs we may not have in our industry that we would use this to replace any of them?
Well, I'll tell you what. So that leads to a great piece. The Wall Street Journal had an article on this, is on the restaurant industry, and I pay a lot of attention to outside industries because there's a ton of intelligence to be gained outside the automotive industry. So the Journal had this article, and a friend of mine posted it on his Substack page. 42% of consumers who dined out in May were frustrated by the lack of staff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then he also goes on in this, and quotes a famous chef from Chicago, Rick Bayless, in the article, who said, if you get the front of the house right with robots/AI, you can pay more to the people in the back of the house. Right. So your technicians, your really value added people. So where I'm looking at incorporating these kind of technologies is the grunt work, right? Get the repetitive, the guy on the factory floor. I mean, this is an analogy, but the guy on the factory floor who's putting the same bolt on for 8 hours a day, automate that kind of stuff and retain that really high value added customer facing connection with your front office staff, and then bring that to the back where they can be more efficient. It's all about efficiency, creating a better experience for your client, and making your front and back of house run more efficiently. So, and where we can do that, absolutely.
Yep. Where are you thinking? Where are you thinking?
Well, see, that's the thing with the chat AIs. I'm really afraid of going into that because that is often our one dedicated opportunity to connect one-on-one with our client, with our service advisor actually talking to a client. Yeah. And a lot of our clients, I mean, make no mistake, a lot of them, they don't want us to call. It's all text, right? They don't want us to call. We do have the occasional who's, hey, can you explain this to me? But most of our clients are like, we send them the text that goes right from our SMS. I mean, it's super seamless, but it's the way that they want to be faced. But I don't want an AI robot taking over that connected relationship with my client.
That is the number one thing. I think it is the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what we do differently as independent, in the aftermarket. And I think that that's something that, I think right now AI is very clear to say, I do not have feelings. I cannot emit emotion. They tell you that all the time when they answer. Just at what point does emotion start coming into play? And that can't be that, we have to be able to discern as human beings. We have to be able to discern, and we have to be able to, invest in our relationships. So I think wherever that relationship happens is where we can't let something else come in and take over for us, because then what's any different from my shop doing it any different than yours, other than the proximity?
Agree. Absolutely.
So let me add into this. So if there was a way to fully bring in the personality of your client to your counter, would you appreciate that type of familiarity with the client pre-service? Meaning that you knew they liked to be greeted with whatever they want to be, or they like the color blue or pink or green, or they drive 10,000 miles a year over rocky roads, or they vacationed in Italy, they travel. That profiling is capable of being presented to us, not quite now, but I'm sure that within the next year or so, those type of elements for us to create a better relationship. Andy, your thing with the restaurant, if I walked into a restaurant and knew that I like to be seated by the window and I eat at 6:30 and my favorite meal is a steak, when I walked in, the person greeting me would go, Mr. Buckley, we have that seat available for you. Your steak coming up medium rare. We'll have the bourbon for you ready to go. Anything else we can do for you? So these elements are what, and actually, honestly, if you were able to look at your already present analytics and your YouTube or your Google or GMB, whatever, you would start to see some of the breakdown of the personalities that your clients are coming through your social media. I mean, they may not all drive in and do business with you, but you can see what their profiles are. And truly, there are people who are involved with real estate, automotive, they raise rabbits. It doesn't matter. All those elements come through. So what I look at is having those come to me and my team so that I can profile them and work with them in a much better situation. So that's what I look forward to.
One of the things that I loved that you said was, Mr. Buckley, here's your steak, here's your bourbon, we've got your favorite table. John DeJulius has been on my show a couple of times, great author, customer service experience expert, FORD. He believes you should have that on, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams on every client. And if we could, in some form or fashion, in our CRMs, which are getting so much smarter today, they're almost becoming an AI thing. We imagine someone coming in, having a relationship, even if it was an online order, and having a chat, an AI chat bot communicating with a client. I'm a client of Greg's, and I know I got a squealing on my brakes. I think I need a brake job. Hey, I need to come in, blah, blah, blah. Hey, good to see you again. Hopefully that alignment we did last time you were here, and almost giving me that front of house intimacy, even though I'm not talking to somebody. And if I was talking to somebody, then my AI Buckley chat box would be up here giving me that personal profile of my customer right there, continuing in Tara's terms, that whole relationship thing. And again, I see this interesting, you see my hands, this web of that, those are bourbon hands, by the way. And I see that whole.
I've had those before.
What was it? Was it the Hell 1000? Right?
Yeah.
Hello, Greg. Good to have you here again.
Yeah.
What a great discussion, because we're not only talking about what's here, but we're talking about what could be, and then what could be tomorrow.
So I'll tell you, you know what's really interesting, the thought of, and I just came to me through what you're talking about. If I could, for Paul or Brian or Amy in our Chicago office, if on our appointments page, it could say, I'm Amy's assistant. Please, can you just answer a couple things, and I'll set up your appointment so that Amy can better serve you when you come in. Something like that would be fantastic, right?
I think
we're actually right.
Yeah.
But how cool would that be? Where they actually know, that they're talking to an AI chat, but it is, I'm Amy's assistant. I'm Paul's assistant. Can you answer these 3 questions, or just type a little bit about what your issue is? Something where it really personalizes, where they know that we are using technology, but we're doing it on a personal level.
Yes.
Because that is exactly what you said. Our value is in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The local dealer here tried to do it about a year and a half ago, where they had an automated check-in to pick up my car, because my car was under warranty. So I took it there. It was a Porsche. So I took it to a Porsche in Dallas. They had an automated check-in thing, so I could fill out, do I want my car washed? What time am I going to pick it up? I put in, yes, please wash it. I'm going to pick it up at 9 o'clock. I show up to go pick up the car. Guy comes out and says, our wash guy doesn't show up till 10, so we couldn't wash your car. I'm like, well, why was it even an option on your stupid check-in form? Right?
Wow.
So let's make it smart. Let's not be dumb about it.
Stop checking boxes is what you're saying.
Yes.
and let it be. You are 100% right. When are we going to learn not to offer things we can't offer?
And nobody wants to fill out a 30-page or a 30-question survey. Nobody.
So I had this wild thought, and I'm going to say the word community, and I think you all can appreciate the strength of that, and the if you will, the forward-thinking community intimacy that we as local business people have to have. Imagine going to ChatGPT or any AI and say, I want to be involved in a community endeavor that is helping people eat or get cars repaired, and see what comes up. I think you could do that search on Google in the past, but I don't think anywhere near as powerful as you could on ChatGPT. Your thoughts?
Well, it's funny that you mention that because I'm involving myself with a upstart web design company, and my vision was exactly what you are discussing here. Without mentioning names, the new site, and it's live now. It's in its infancy. It's from Millsboro. We are creating each of the communities that we serve. We are creating individual pages with live and active calendars so that the community can provide events to that page, to that calendar, and I can react as needed. We can draw information off of that, and that will be, isolated to, the developments, the communities, the townships, and Chamber of Commerce. I mean, it is going to be one of the things that I've always had this vision for. Now with the technology there and this upstart company who is vibrant and very energetic, and they get it. For me, they get it. So that's exactly where I'm going, because we need to be, my thoughts are, we need to be more than automotive when we're starting to present ourselves out to communities. So why make it static? Allow those communities to engage with us in multiple ways. So you can look at it now. You'll see where I've got everything divided, and pages are being created, and the calendars are almost in effect, but you'll see that evolve into what you just said.
Thank you, Greg. I don't mean to lasso this ChatGPT discussion, which has been great so far, and move it over here, but I think a podcast episode that we need to do is that it's titled this: We are more than just automotive.
We're more than heads under a hood.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the community needs us so bad. I know they know it, but I'm not sure they appreciate how much we care. You're just not a transaction. You're not an oil change. You are we care about your vehicle, your safety, and your reliability. You, your family, the extended thing. There's so many more things that we can do. Wow. I don't know where else to go with this thing, because there's a million other ways we can talk about it, but you're using verbiage, Tara, to even help in your SMS system. Am I right? Like Greg was speaking of, are you helping design jobs?
Yes. I mean, more, yes, correct. I think Greg is doing it more on the technician side. I'm doing it more on the service advisor side, is what I'm understanding. Greg's using it to write his story, what a technician writes their story, right? And that's also a legal document. So he's making sure that he's justifying his process, his procedure, and how he's taking care of people's vehicles. And I think on the other side, then we're helping people understand so that they don't have to go somewhere else and try to figure it out on their own. So I don't know if you guys are noticing that. It used to be that I had to understand everything because I had to somehow, in layman's terms, explain it to the people. People don't ask questions anymore. We give them information, they go figure it out for themselves, and then they come back and they make their decision a lot of times. So if I can be the person to give them the information that they need to be able to make that decision, then I get to control that, not whatever they find on Google or whatever they ask a ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think what I heard Greg say is he is using it for the customer facing. Am I right,
Yes,
Greg? Yeah.
yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Yes,
is.
on his RO, but I think it's more on like the work that was done.
No, it's
right?
on
Or
it's on the consumer. It's on the invoice.
Yes,
Everything. Mhm.
yes, but more what the technician does, what's actually been
Oh,
done.
yes, the procedure. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes,
More
Yeah,
technical.
cool.
and I'm more
Mhm.
on the sales side probably,
Okay.
but I
Okay,
will be
guys.
soon doing what Greg does. That's very smart.
Have you ever gotten a very interesting email? You're really not quite sure how to reply or respond to it, and then you went to ChatGPT and says, "Write me an email about this." Have you ever done that?
Yes, when I get the call at 7 a.m. Can you do a show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Carm here?
So write him a nasty gram. I'm busy.
Right.
I think I invited you at least a week ago, Greg.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know you did. I know you did. just say there, buddy, pal.
Yeah, I know.
Good friend.
No, I'm
You know what I
I'm
mean?
fine. I won't jump your bones too hard.
No, not at all.
Oh my God. So where else can we go with this, guys? I know we can't answer a question. I believe we've got to let this incubate as an industry and then just come back and just get a panel together and say, okay, ChatGPT or any kind of Bard, what are you using it for? How's it helped your business? And so let's just kind of go around the room. What can we continue to do to help our industry embrace it, learn from it, not copy it, add our own personality, which is, I think, a lot of the things that we've chatted about here. But what did you bring as talking points that we haven't covered? Tara, I'll go with you first, then Greg, then Andy.
I think the most important thing, and I can't really ever do a show without mentioning Bob Greenwood because he's still here with us, is that we all have to make sure that we are keeping the professionalism in the industry and keeping that bar high. Bob talked about the new aftermarket, and I bet he had no idea what this even was, but now we all need to embrace it and really look into the future and help decide how is this going to help us be more professional and be recognized as not just a trade, but a professionalism.
Boy, I knew Bob pretty damn well. Tara, you probably knew him just a little bit better. And I would love, Bob, are you up there? What do you think about where we are? I know, think about it. Yeah, he always had that vision. Didn't quite necessarily have it totally defined, but he knew it was a moving target. And in the last couple of years, it has moved pretty fast, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for bringing Bob's name up. Greg, what have we not covered from your driver, the Mercedes driver story?
Oh well, yeah, that's a good one. And I think
Yeah,
Andy
you gotta say
would
this
agree.
one.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we can. I mean, Andy had mentioned it in a story about the breaking news about Mercedes offering AI into the cockpit and through chat, and I come up with just a story about make a left, make a right, and it was always like a HAL 2000 type scenario. But I think that's that could be real. You actually, because the car is now controlled electrically, and electronically for every which way you can think of. But and that's a scenario to look at, and that's probably down the road a little bit. But in the meantime, my suggestion is to really not go overboard with what you hear today, or for folks out there watching, you're seeing 3 people who are experimenting with it, and the key word is experimenting. And we're looking at ways to have advantages, and so are a bunch of other of our colleagues and other small businesses. But don't get into the hype that everything is AI generated. There's AI, artificial intelligence, and then I say there's automated intelligence, and some of the things are different. You got to go back a while and understand how conditional logic is brought into answers and stuff like that. That's a whole nother story. But in the meantime, the biggest thing I would tell you is don't get mentally lazy. Don't allow your own intelligence and experience to be to be taken over by an AI chatbot and leave it at that. It makes you lazy from the technical side, from the business side, and really from the marketing side. There's tools that can help us. You just don't want to become more stupid. You know what I mean? So
I love that. I mean, there's a
more
huge
stupid.
yeah. Don't get
Title of the show.
mentally lazy.
Don't be more stupid.
don't be more stupid.
Don't even be stupid. Just don't be more stupid.
Don't be more
Right.
stupid.
I'm putting that on my next business card.
Yeah.
Did you get that from ChatGPT?
Yeah.
I can always count on Greg for shooting the arrow and hitting the bullseye. Don't get mentally lazy. Don't get stupid.
And don't get more stupid.
More stupid. Right.
Don't get more. It's perfect, because if we rely on that, we will stop the creativity. Again, I like to learn something new every day, and I think stretching your mind keeps you sharp. You have to listen to your intuition, not AI's intuition. on things. And so great point, Craig. Andy, I'll let you play cleanup. What did we not cover that you want to talk about? Too bad we didn't do the driver and the Mercedes thing. Greg, do you have that script in front of you?
Yeah, I do. Let me see here.
If you have it, I want to play the Mercedes role.
Okay. All right, let me see if I can get a separate the screens here.
Yeah, see if you can call it up.
Yeah, I got it.
Greg
right
is
here.
going to be the driver in the car, and I'm going to be the car.
Okay. Do I share? How do I share it, or do you want to do
No,
it?
we're going to do it. We're just going to verbally do it.
Okay. All right. So you're the driver, right?
No, I'm Mercedes.
You're Mercedes.
I'm the car. I'm the car.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make a left turn to get to the pizza shop.
Hold on there, Greg. Make a right turn because I think you'll arrive 5 minutes quicker.
No, Mercedes. I'm making a left because I know my way.
Listen, Harold, I know better, and I can control your steering, your HVAC, your windows, and everything else. Basically, Harold, I'll keep you locked in my shell until you say, Uncle.
F you, Mercedes. I'll shut you down and leave you behind.
Harold, did I mention the door locks and ignition as well?
Mercedes, I think that right turn makes sense. You know, my pizza will be 5 minutes hotter.
I love it.
But I like the other one that Greg threw in there was, Harold, we're not going to the pizza place. You're 30 pounds overweight. We're going to the salad bar. Right? That's where you're really going to get people ticked off.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what gets them to reject self-automated driving.
So in 5 years, right? So in 5 years, we're going to be laughing at what we just did.
I would love it. I'd be scared, but I would think
scary. I know.
Crazy.
I just got a video yesterday from my sister-in-law taking my niece to visit Arizona State. Their tour around campus. They were driven in a Waymo-driven Jaguar SUV. No driver in the seat. No driver.
Well, that's autonomy 5.
Yeah, level 5.
Yeah, level 5. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be really, really scary.
Hey, did I give you your chance, Andy? I didn't give you your chance. Go ahead.
No problem. So this is really exciting stuff to me. I mean, all of these topics, these kind of all the new technologies coming out, and like I referenced earlier in the episode, the willingness of our industry to embrace these new technologies nowadays. And I don't know if it's just a change in heart or if it's you have a new generation coming up younger than me, but even at my age, I'm really excited about this incorporating this new technology to really push our industry forward. And it emphasizes the need for owners to get out of the day-to-day operations of their shop, because this stuff, checking out this kind of stuff, looking into it, researching it, playing around with it, it's a lot of fun. Right? I mean, it brings another aspect of enjoyment to this industry. For me, at least, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it does for you, Greg. I know you love this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I figured that Greg would be like, do AI right now, because he's always very, very enthusiastic about new technologies. But really emphasizing the fact that we are business owners. We're not shop owners. We're business owners. Hire the people to do the work, hire the people to take care of your clients, and then you take care of your people, right? And use all these technologies. Check them out, right? There's a ton of things out there to be deployed. Go through it, make the decision for yourself. Ask around, ask your peers. Have you tried this? Have you done this? I have to say, every time I see a shop owner saying this business is done, EVs are coming, they're not going to need any work, this, it's a dead end industry, I just have to laugh, because I think the opportunities are really exploding, and they're unlimited, and it's an exciting time to be in the business.
Those peoples were born from dads who said that HEI wouldn't last, and neither would disc brakes. So,
True.
No, golly. Hey guys, this was great. Tara Topel Service Center, Lake Mills, Wisconsin. Andy Bizub, Midwest Performance Cars in Chicago, 3 locations, and Greg Buckley, Buckley's Auto Care, Wilmington and Millsboro, Delaware. Thank you so much. This was great. Our first AI discussion, and it was actually profound and funny. And what was my favorite word of the day?
Soliloquy.
And there was soliloquy inside. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys. Thanks again, man.